Meanwhile, the Worldwide Fund has sounded an alarm over rising plastic pollution in the world's oceans. According to a new report published by the WWF, the marine plastic pollution could quadruple by the year 2050. We have more details coming up in this next report. Take a look.
As per a report by wildlife preservation group WWF, the plastic pollution now affects almost all species in the world's oceans. The latest report has also projected that plastic pollution in the world's oceans could quadruple by 2050. Researchers have alerted that more areas will see ecological harm. The damage will be caused by high levels of microplastics in the marine environment. The research analyzed over 2,500 studies on plastic pollution to compile all the data available on this topic and generate estimates. The report also warns that by 2100, marine areas could exceed ecologically dangerous thresholds of microplastic concentration. It says that the amount of marine microplastic could increase by 50-fold by the end of the century. And that's exactly the big problem with plastic. It disintegrates in the ocean into tiny pieces of microplastics.
Plastic also fragments into smaller pieces due to the action of sunlight and wave abrasion in the ocean, for instance. And in these smaller sizes, plastic particles can reach far more organisms. Even the smallest zooplankton animals can eat these particles, up to big whales. So it can really infiltrate our food webs like this.
Plastic pollution can also have serious effects on marine biodiversity, from seabirds to stingrays.
Very different effects on organisms, from having no effect, just being ingested in the best case scenario, but for some species it causes inflammation. It reduces the growth rates, it reduces success of reproduction or fertility. And so the effects are very different depending on what animal you look at.
Concentrations of microplastics above a dangerous threshold have already been measured in the Mediterranean, the East China and Yellow Seas, and the Arctic sea ice. All of these findings suggest that the current situation is irreversible. Most of the plastic which gets into the ocean is nearly impossible to retrieve.
We cannot get out the plastic of the ocean. You may be able to retrieve plastic articles near the coastline. You can collect it from beaches or from riverbanks, but once it's in the ocean, it's lost, because a lot of it actually sinks to the seafloor or makes it to very remote beaches where nobody lives.
To slow down the spread of microplastics, actions need to be taken on multiple levels.
Plastic pollution is a global problem, as we showed in the report. So it needs global solutions. And one of the ones on the table right now is to come up with a global treaty on chemical and plastic pollution, with a scientific body overseeing the measurements being taken with reduction targets and things like this that we can control.
The report found 88% of marine species to be adversely impacted by plastic. The researchers estimate that up to 90% of all seabirds and 52% of all the sea turtles ingest plastic. The WWF wants nations to adopt a legally binding global treaty against plastic pollution at the UN Environment Assembly later this month. Bureau Report WION World is One.
WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.